What's up, Spartan fans? Welcome to Huddle the Hardwood. My name is Jacob.
My name is Holden, and today we're going to be previewing the game tomorrow against the Purdue Boilermakers. They are ranked number 8 in the country right now. They got a 22-5 record, same as Michigan State. Also, same as Michigan State, they are 12-4 in the conference. Today, in the video, we're going to be talking about Purdue's last 5 games, key players slash key matchups for the game. We're going to be going over some key stats that we think are important coming into this game, and that might play a factor into the game. We're going to talk about keys to victory slash other storylines coming into this game, and then we'll end the game just talking about our predictions and what we think is going to happen for this game. So, Jacob, you can go ahead and give us some insight of what their last 5 games looks like.
Yeah, so their last five, their last game that they had, they beat Indiana pretty bad. They beat them 93 to 64. Their leading scorer was TKR with 20 points. They had two other players with 18. One of them was Fletcher Lawyer, and I forgot the other guy's name. Um, But then they lost to Michigan. Score made it seem a lot closer than what it actually was. Michigan beat them 91 to 80. If you actually watched the game, you knew it wasn't really a game. TKR had 27 that game. And then, which is pretty scary to be honest. I don't know how you feel about that, knowing Michigan's front court is pretty good. And the fact that TKR put 27 on them. And then
So
Braden Smith had 20 points that game as well. Um, but yeah, so
I do
that's
plan on getting into that. That's part of my things I had written down for keys to victory is something to do with that kind of thing. So
and then they had a win at Iowa, 78 to 57. Their leading scorer, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce this guy's name, but it's G Harris, not Gary Harris, but G Harris. He had 14 points, and CJ Cox also had 14 points. Then they had an impressive win against Nebraska, which was on the road. It was 80 to 77 in overtime. Fletcher Lawyer led the way with 18, and Braden Smith had 13. And then 5 games ago, they beat Oregon at home 68-64, very rough game. They almost lost that game. Fletcher led the way with 18 again, and Braden Smith had 13 again. And then before we get into the key players, I just want to have their notable wins on the season. To be honest, their resume isn't very impressive to me. Uh, there's only three that I have on the list. The first one is when they beat Alabama at Alabama when they were ranked eighth in the nation. We all kind of see how Alabama's turning out right now. Um, not not really doing so hot.
I
Um,
mean, they won 8 or 9 games in a row. They're pretty much turning it on right now. But
yeah, I mean, but they went through a really big
yeah,
stretch, and then they had that whole thing that I guess doesn't really have to do with their record with the pro player, but still like it's not as impressive as it was in the beginning of the year, winning at 8 Alabama. And in my opinion, their best win of the season, they beat number 15 Texas Tech at the time. Texas Tech has looked absolutely great. Unfortunately, with JT Toppin going out with the ACL injury, it's rough, but they did play against JT Toppin when it happened. So, in my opinion, that's their most impressive win. And then the most recent one is at number 7, Nebraska. Um, and then their bad losses, they lost by 23 against Iowa State. Iowa State's a really good team, don't get me wrong, but losing by 23 is a bad loss.
at home.
Um, yeah, at home. And then these other two are kind of debatable. I had Indiana as a bad loss. Indiana's not really considered a tournament team right now. However, it was a rivalry game, so anything could happen. So I guess you could kind of consider it. And then the other bad loss I have is UCLA, which UCLA is a hit or miss team. They're not necessarily a bad team, but they're not a great team, and you should take care of business. But anyways, I've said enough about Purdue. Holden, what are the key players to this game?
Yeah, so I think they have 4 guys that I have listed that are going to be keys to this game here. That being Braden Smith, Foster or Fletcher Lawyer. Sorry, we had Foster on our team. His brother Fletcher is much better than him, unfortunately. Um, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman Ren slash TKR, and then Oscar Clough, their 7 foot big man. Um, so with Braden Smith, obviously he's their guy. He's what stirs the drink. So I said about Bruce Thornton, but he's Bruce Thornton on another level, not even close. He's even better. Um, Reigning Big Ten Player of the Year. He's in the running for it again. He has been very consistently, even when Zach Edey was playing on his team. He's been one of the best point guards in the country. So when it comes to him, uh, I think you're going to see a mixture of him or Jeremy Fears and Jordan Scott on him. Um, I think mostly you're going to be seeing, in my opinion, I think it would help our team better for another reason that I'll get into in a second. But I think mostly you're going to see Jordan Scott guarding um, Braden Smith because I feel like his length can take him away more so than Jeremy can. I think he's the same similar size to Jeremy, but on the same token, I think it would be better if Jeremy were to be guarding somebody else versus the primary ball handler who's going to have the ball in his hands the whole game, running the whole offense. It gives Jeremy a little bit of a break per se on defense when
And
we need him
also,
to.
I would like to add to, we'll get a little more into matchups in a second, but I would like to add to with having Jeremy guarding off of Braden Smith, it also prevents him from getting into foul trouble, which we absolutely
That's what I
cannot
was going to
afford.
say. Yeah,
So,
like it gives them a break on defense, and then it also like it's like if he's not guarding the primary ball handler all the time, he's less prone to picking up stupid
yeah.
fouls. So with that, like I still think Jeremy Fears is going to be on Smith some, and that's what I really look forward to this game is just a matchup between Jeremy Fears and Braden Smith because those are arguably the two best point guards in the conference right now, and some of the best point guards in the country. So I've been circling this game for a long time, and I'm really excited to see how Jeremy and Braden go against each other. And then on the flip side of that, Fletcher Lawyer, who's been playing really good his last 6 games, I think he's had like three 18-point games and he had a 29-point game. He's been shooting the ball really, really well. When in the middle of the season, he was really struggling to shoot the ball, and Purdue fans were at his throat about it. But he's been really picking it up recently. So I think you're going to see Scott slash Fears on him, but I think it'd be really good for Fears to play kind of off ball and guard Fletcher because he's not like he's a big like sized wing or anything like that. He's probably like 6'2", 6'3". But he's probably just gonna be running around shooting a lot. But I think it'd be better for Fears for the most part to be playing off ball guarding him. It's really just getting your hand up on the shooter. Like I don't think he's gonna be much of a threat taking the ball to the hole or anything like that. It's just Jeremy staying disciplined. If he's getting caught in ball screens, you need to make sure you're not going under screens against Fletcher because he's gonna let everything fly. So um, and then the interesting part I have for the bigs, um, TKR technically plays the 4 and Oscar Clough is technically the 5. I think it would benefit our team if Cooper guards TKR and Clough or Jackson will be guarding Oscar Clough. Oscar Clough is the type of guy that's a bruiser in the paint. He doesn't really leave the paint a lot, and he's their kind of bruiser to go get those rebounds. TKR is their main force when it comes to the paint. They're going to be giving him the ball multiple times a game. He's probably going to get 15 to 20 shots up a game. And I think Cooper is more suited to disrupt him with his length. And I think he's just an overall better defender than um, Jackson would be. Um, and now you've seen a little bit more recently. TKR doesn't have that great of a shot, but he's able to step out and hit some of those middies. Like I said, I think Cooper would be
Yeah.
more suited for
I
that.
agree with that with Koopa and TKR because like you were saying, I think his length would be very beneficial against him and guarding him. However, I really don't like the matchup with Jackson and Clough because I think Jackson's gonna get bullied in the paint. But at the same time, we don't have anyone to guard him, so our best option is Jackson. I just sometimes, especially in those bigger matchups, Jackson just gets um he just gets thrown around sometimes.
I don't I just don't know if Clough's that big of a threat, honestly, when it comes down there. I think I think it's important to put both I think Jax will be better than Clough on the glass. And I think Jackson has like when it comes to getting those rebounds, I think Jax is going to beat him out because I think he'll be quicker to the ball than Clough is. Clough is a little like bulkier and he's a little bit like more heavy set than Jackson is, and I think Jackson's going to be a little bit more well, he might struggle a little bit when it comes to just one-on-one post. That's when you have somebody like dig, maybe like Cohen Carr can come dig and get in there. Because I don't have the guy. I think CJ Cox is going to be starting at that three. I don't think he's that big of a scoring threat or anything like that. I think Cohen's going to spend most of the game on him. Like if it gets to a point where you're scared of Jackson getting bullied too much by Clough, then I think it's one of those things where you just have one of the wings guys dig in. But I still
Yeah.
don't think he's that big of a threat.
If it's Cohen digging, I mean that's fine, but if it's like Jeremy or Jordan digging, that's
No,
where I
yeah,
get nervous because
yeah,
if they dig, that's a three-pointer. Fletcher and Braden are throwing it up and
yeah.
they're good shooters. So I I don't know that I will say that matchup makes me a little nervous. I do agree with the rebounding. I think he'll be fine with that because he's just quicker. However, if it gets to a one-on-one in the post, I think Jackson's getting scored on 8 times out of 10. I really do because especially
See, yeah,
with how big Clough is, I just think he's going to be able to back him down pretty easy, and it'll just be up to our help if we're able to stop it and the spacing with TKR. If he's like clogging the paint, then I'm fine with the matchup because then Carson can help over too.
yeah.
But if TKR is a little bit more out, then I'm nervous about that matchup.
I'm not worried about necessarily TKR spreading it out too much. I think he's been working on some minis a little bit, but
Hmm.
the reason I wanted to switch them is because TKR is going to be getting, like I said, I think he's going to be getting up 15 to
He's
20 shots a game, and Jackson's probably is definitely the lesser defender of the two. I'd rather have our best defender on the guy who's going to be taking most of the
oh,
shots.
for sure. No, I'm not.
So I think we can take a couple of bad like possessions when it maybe Jackson is struggling against Clough. I'd rather take a couple bad possessions of those than just Jackson getting bullied for 30 points
Well,
during the
especially since Jackson's been really bad about fouling lately. If he was on TKR, he'd be in foul trouble within the first 3 minutes again for the what 78 million consecutive game. So, I mean, I do really like the matchup of Carson. I mean, yeah, Carson on TKR, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how the game goes.
that's my matchup. I'll get yeah, that goes to my key to victory. But do you have anything else matchup wise, or do you want to get into some of the key stats that you have pinpointed?
Um, yeah, I mean, matchup wise, I definitely I agree with most of what you're saying. I wouldn't. Hmm, actually, never mind. I really like Jordan Scott on to start out on Braden Smith.
Mhm.
Um, However, like in the second half, I wouldn't also mind seeing Jeremy switch on. It all depends honestly on how Jeremy comes out. If he comes off super soft,
Same
then I
things.
don't want him touching Braden Smith. But if he's like on fire, especially in that second half, I want all that energy on Braden Smith. Like I'm mostly putting Jordan on Braden in the first half to keep Jeremy out of foul trouble
I like that.
and keep energy on there. Because also at the same time, it gives a different look,
Mhm.
because at halftime, Braden Smith will be preparing for Jordan Scott again to come back out on him, where now we're throwing Jeremy Fears on him, and now he has to adjust and everything he thought about at halftime. And yeah, so I would like both of them on them, and I would like it to be strategic with where we're at in the game.
I like that. Yeah.
Um, I unfortunately do not want to see Jesse McCullough at all in this game. I think he would be an absolute defensive liability no matter where he's at. If it's TKR, he's going to absolutely cook him. Jesse's too slow on defense and too small to guard Clough, and I really don't want to see Jesse out at all this game. It'll be a matchup nightmare. Um, Other than that. I don't really have anything else for the matchups. So I guess moving on to stats. Purdue averages 24.4 3-point attempts per game. They make 9 of them per game. They average 34 rebounds per game. They average 83 points per game. while only giving up 69.3, and they have the 16th best defense in the nation. Um,
Really? Did not know this.
so we can go ahead and move on to our keys to victory. Would you like to start?
Yeah, so before necessarily keys to victory, I just have a little pop quiz for you. In our last 10 games that we've played against Purdue, can you guess how many that we have won?
I believe last year was the first time we won in a while, I'm pretty sure. But in the last 10, I want to say we won like two or three.
We have won two of our last 10. So we're 2-8 against them in our last 10 games. Most recently, we beat them last year at home, but we also haven't won in Mackey in 12 years. So they don't play very well there. So
But that's one of those
that's,
stats. That's one of those stats that the betting books love because they always throw out that like, oh, they haven't beaten them in so long, or so and so when they wear a certain color tie, they always win. So, I mean, that's a stat that could go for us. You never know.
we'll see. The point being is Purdue's been our kryptonite the
Yeah.
last 5 years or so. And I mean, they've been everyone's kryptonite last 5 years. So it's pretty much been their league. And we ended up winning it last year. But for the most part, it's been like the Purdue Zach Edey / Braden Smith era. So
Mhm.
we needed to hopefully we can go on a 2 year streak. Anyways, so some keys to victory I have written down. I'm going to continue to beat this dead horse until they switch it up. Um, no slow starts, please. We need a sense of urgency right away. We cannot come into the game and instantly bring energy into Mackey Arena because it'll be hard to come back from that. We need to instantly come out and like light a fire under their behinds. Okay, like it's got to be right from the jump because this last month has been terrible and it's been coming back to bite us and it will do that in this game if we decide to just come out slow again and be stagnant and just not ready to take someone's head off essentially.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something kind of crazy off of that because I have something similar down. I will say that I think if we go down by 10 at any point of the game, we lost. Because with the energy that Mackey brings and the fans bring, and knowing how much of a veteran team this Purdue team is, um, I I think it's kind of a wild statement because anything could happen. However, like I really truly believe with the atmosphere, if we go down 10, I don't think there's any coming back from it uh,
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah. I mean, that's something we also didn't touch on. Like three of their three best players, TKR Fletch and Braden Smith, have been playing together for the last 4 years, and they've been to a national championship and they've won multiple Big Ten championships together, and they've seen a lot. So
Also
that's
lost
what
the first round as the one seed.
they also did that. But so yeah, they've seen everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just going to continue to say that every game. If we keep starting slow, we're just going to keep struggling. So
Yeah.
um,
Agreed.
and then I wrote down Fears and Scott need to come in locked in defensively. They need to take Braden Smith out of the game as early and as much as possible. I think if you take him out of the game, I think it just becomes a TKR show, and that is something that I'm willing to live with. And their losses, and like you pointed out, against Michigan, Braden Smith really wasn't doing much until that second half, like fake kind of surge to come back. Like he was struggling the entire game. But you know who wasn't? It was TKR. They were letting him get in the post and he was taking all the shots. But I think they did a really good job of taking Braden Smith out of the game. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll give this guy 25 to 30, but I'm not letting this guy do anything. So that's what I kind of have going into this game. I want Fears and Scott to shut down Braden Smith, make it so like every time he doesn't have the ball, be face guarding him, defending him, like make him run around just trying to get open, get the ball because not only is he's a prolific scorer, but he's second in the nation right behind Jeremy Fears in assist rate. So he runs that offense. He's a great distributor and he makes his teammates better. So I think it's paramount that we take him out of the game as early as possible and just get him playing bad and force someone else to beat us. I don't know what you have to say about that, but
Yeah, oh, to kind of piggyback off that, like kind of like you were saying, make TKR and Fletcher Lloyd beat us. Don't let Braden Smith beat us because he's the heartbeat of that offense. But yeah, I guess going into my own keys to win, um, I'm also going to be beating a dead horse. Movement on offense. We started off not moving against Ohio State, and it's been a constant problem. We just do not move. And the games that we play are absolute best, and we look like that team that can make a far run in March is the games where we're moving on offense, and that's off ball, moving the ball around the key, not standing still, and yeah, so be constantly moving. If you're standing still, you're doing something wrong, and they need to understand that. Don't play timid. We're entering a very hostile environment, and if we walk in there like with our tails tucked between our legs like we did against Wisconsin, we're gonna get blown out. It's inevitable, and we have to be physical. Um, a part of the physical play big in the post. I just need to see that physicality, especially in the post. Um, discipline. This is one of the big ones this game. No dumb fouls. We cannot have Jackson in foul trouble within the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game. Can't happen. You're our senior. It's at the end of the season. Cannot happen. And then don't let the players or fans get in your head. Keep a level head. Keep your eyes on the prize. And then taking care of the ball. No stupid turnovers. Kind of self-explanatory. And then my last one is communication on both ends. I saw a lot during Ohio State. We weren't communicating defensively, which caused some players to be left wide open. And offensively, like the very beginning part of the game, Cohen and Jeremy didn't communicate with each other, and it resulted in a turnover. And then there was a lot of stuff like that on offense against Ohio State. So those are my keys to victory.
still had some that I wanted to touch on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no worries. Going along with Fears and Scott shutting Braden down, I also on offense, I want Fears if Braden is the one. I mean, any two of the guards. I've heard that they might even put CJ Cox on him. I don't know much about him as a defender.
Mhm.
But if Jeremy Fears has either one of Braden or Fletcher Lawyer on him, I want him attacking the rim. I think he's faster than them and more physical than them. And I mean, I'm not sitting here advocating for foul baiting, but if you're driving to the rim, you're more amped to get those foul calls and put them in a rough spot, forcing them to go to their bench. And that's just another way to take Braden Smith out of the game. Like I said, I'm not sitting here advocating for him to go into the lane and
Yeah.
go like that and throw it up. Like attack the rim and be strong and draw it naturally, go up hard. But I think he can. I think he's quicker and more physical than both of them.
Yeah.
And I want to see him attacking them. That's when Jeremy Fears is at his best.
Yeah.
When we need him to score, he's good at attacking the rim, hitting those floaters. Like, but yeah, what were you gonna say?
I do want to add on to that. If they do have CJ Cox on Jeremy Fears, that creates a mismatch because that means either Braden Smith or Fletcher Lawyer
On
will
Cohen.
be on Cohen. So if that were to be the case, I want Cohen to be super aggressive this game. Every single time I want to see him take it to the hole because they're eventually gonna have to either switch and that opens up for other people, or they're gonna leave it and it's gonna collapse the defense, which opens up threes. So
Yeah.
if Purdue does that, that would make me happy as long as Cohen becomes aggressive. But if Cohen stays stagnant like he kind of does and hides in that corner, that's gonna screw us over. So
Yeah. So going along with that too, my last one that I had written down here, um, it does seem like when for us offensively, I'm having a feeling that they're gonna try and clog the paint as much as possible, and force us to shoot. And so another reason, well, I guess in my matchups, I wanted Jackson to be guarding Clough, but that doesn't necessarily mean Clough's going to be guarding Jackson. But if it gets to a case where that is the case and Clough is guarding Jackson, I know the last couple of games have been talking about wanting Jackson to be in the post a lot more, but I think as slow as Jackson is, I think he's quicker
Yeah.
um, than Clough is, and I think the pick and pop will be there this game between Jeremy and Jackson. I want if Clough is ever on Jackson, I want Jackson to draw him out of the paint, um, because not only will that give good looks for Jackson to either shoot the three or do his little pump fake dribble and then pull up, that'll also give um, Cooper down low, like he does have a bit of a size advantage on TKR. So if you're bringing Clough out, then you're giving the opportunity to get a good post touch to Coop, who's been doing well recently with those little like post hooks, and
Yeah.
he's been doing good when he
Even
gets
middies. He's
good
been
looks
hitting
at
some
it,
good
even
middies
middies.
too.
So I think we try and get Clough to pull out of the paint and give Coop looks down low if it's there, and then vice versa. But I think that pick and pop will be open this game if we have Clough guarding him.
Yeah. Especially this game. I know last game I said I wanted to see Jackson get more post touches because I did because we had the advantage. However, this game I want to see Jackson on the 3-point line more because of that speed advantage, and I don't want them clogging the paint. However, if he is going to be there, he can't just be sitting on the 3-point line. He's got to be
Mhm.
going, setting either screens on ball or off ball, and he's just got to constantly get other people moving on offense. So I do like that matchup offensively, especially if we're able to spread the floor.
He's due, dude. He's due. I swear he is due. I have a feeling about this game that Jackson's gonna do something. I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where you see Psycho Jackson, he just is, hitting his shots and in his groove, and you see just one of those big type of moments. So, and he needs it. He needs it for morale. The team needs it for morale. I know he really cares, and he's been, really hating himself for the way that he's just not he's not playing terrible by any means, but he's just not playing up to his standards and what he wants for himself for his senior year. So, I think this is a big spot for him and the team to right some of their wrongs and really give them some big momentum, coming down the stretch. So
So before we get into predictions, I just want to touch quickly on why this is an important game. Number one, this will heavily affect our tournament seeding. Right now, we are currently a 4 seed and Purdue is a 2 seed. If we beat Purdue, will, at the minimum, in my opinion, move up to a 3 seed with potential to move up to a 2 seed if other teams lose out and stuff falls into our place. But if we lose, we could fall to a 5 seed, which is not good territory, 5 or 6. And then it also, this one I don't necessarily care about too much, but the Big Ten tournament, it affects seeding for the Big Ten too. Those top 4 teams get a bye, and especially if we get hot, the less games we can play in the Big Ten tournament, the better, because then we could save that energy for March. Also, winning this game breaks the I think it's a 4-way tie for third place right now or second place or something.
a
Um
lot of teams have 4 losses.
yeah, so there's 4 teams with 4 losses right now. Winning this game would put us at second place in the Big Ten. Um and then my final thing is this would be a huge confidence booster. Not beating Purdue and Mackey Arena in 12 years with the last month and a half that we've seen of basketball, I think if we win this game, this is a huge confidence booster, and this could potentially lead to us going in a big run in March if we win.
Yeah. Just to touch on a couple of things that you said, when it comes to March Madness seeding, yes, it is a very big game. I want to do anything possible to stay off that 5 line. I just hate the 12-5 line. And I think there are some good mid majors this year that could give you a run for your money. And then I don't necessarily think that if we win this game, we'll move up to a 2 seed just because there obviously is other teams above us and stuff that I think they like better and that would move up. I think it's still possible for us to get to a 2 seed
Yeah.
if, we win our next, obviously Purdue and then win our next two against Indiana and Rutgers. And then Michigan would be a big one for that too. If we were somehow to get them at home, that would definitely propel us up there. And then obviously there's still big games left that we could play in the Big Ten tournament too. I don't know if those necessarily still mean anything to March Madness, but I do think that they do take those into account. And then when you talk about the Big Ten tournament, I think it's important for us to get in those top four seeds, because we get that double bye where we don't have to play till I think the tournament would start on a Tuesday, and I don't think we'd have to play till a Thursday, or it might be Wednesday and we'll have to play till Friday, but that's still really important. And then you're only leaving yourself like I think playing 3 games instead of 4 to 5 to, win the tournament.
Yeah,
Um,
especially get hot. But yeah, like I was saying, I think um if we were to win this game and then win the next two, and then if we lost to Michigan, I think we would be pretty much guaranteed a 3 seed. Like I was saying,
I'd be
uh,
happy with the 3 seed.
yeah, for sure. The parts I was saying about the 2 seed is like things would have to fall in the right place. The teams ahead of us, they would have to lose. Something would have to happen. Everything would have to fall perfectly for us, for that 2 seed to happen. But I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get here. We'll talk about it tomorrow after the game. Who knows? We might lose terribly, and we're going to be sitting here talking. We're going to be a 7 seed, which I mean, we made
Oh,
the Final Four as a 7 seed before,
we're
but
always a 7 seed or like a 2 seed nowadays. It's like then maybe a
um,
9.
So to finish out the video with the score predictions, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yours. Yours.
I have a 61-59 MSU victory. I think it's going to be a
Low
very,
scoring.
I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I don't think there's going to be high offense this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think Michigan State's going to barely pull it out at the end.
Okay. I mean, I have something similar, just not quite as low scoring. I do have MSU winning this game by 2 points as well. I have the final score being Michigan State 73, Purdue 71. I do think that Purdue is going to be a really hard team to hold under 60 points, but I mean, I can see it happening, but
This is,
stopping those top
yeah.
four guys from getting past 60 points would be a hell of an accomplishment. But um, I mean, we are somehow, some way still what was it, 11 and a half point underdogs?
No,
Like,
so I looked today, right now the line as we record this video, the line sits at 6.5 Purdue.
jeez,
And Michigan State money line is plus 230.
how did it move so much?
I
Like
don't know.
the other day you were like 11 and a half. I thought that was
I think
bonkers.
that's what it opened up as, but I don't think it stayed that for
Six
long.
and a half, I feel like is way more reasonable, but I still feel like it should be a little bit closer than that.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see.
but yeah,
Especially if it blows.
I'm excited for this game. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping for MSU win. Not necessarily expecting it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, well, that will be all from us today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and go green.
Oh, I